You see the same tired images, don't you? The neon-drenched chaos of Shibuya Crossing, the endless stream of tourists at Fushimi Inari Shrine, geishas flitting through the alleyways of Gion. All beautiful, sure, but it's a facade, a carefully curated postcard for the masses. What if I told you there's a Japan beneath the surface? A Japan of quiet charm, of unexpected encounters, of flavors that will make you weep with joy. A Japan where you eat, drink, and breathe alongside the locals, not just gawk at them from a safe distance. That's the Japan I want to show you. So ditch the guidebook, forget everything you thought you knew, and get ready for a real journey. This is how you unlock Japan. Forget the sterile, overpriced high-rises. You want to really know a city, you gotta sleep in its guts. And in Japan, that means embracing the unfamiliar. First up, ryokans. These traditional inns are like stepping back in time. Tatami floors, sliding paper doors, and futons laid out just for you. Some even have communal baths, onsen where you can soak your troubles away. Trust me, there's nothing like it. Feeling adventurous? Try a capsule hotel. It's exactly what it sounds like. A tiny pod where you can crash for the night. Claustrophobic? Maybe. An experience you won't forget? Absolutely. Now, if you're looking for the real pulse of the city, skip the tourist zones. Shimokitazawa in Tokyo is a haven for artists and musicians. Think vintage shops, underground music venues, and cafes where the coffee is strong and the conversation even stronger. Osaka, more your speed? Nakazakicho is the place to be. Narrow streets lined with retro shops, tiny bars bursting with character, and enough street food to satisfy any craving. Or maybe you crave tranquility. Head south to Kamakura, a seaside town where ancient temples sit nestled amongst lush greenery. The pace of life is slower here, the air thick with the scent of salt and incense. Listen up, because this is important. Japan is a culinary wonderland, but you won't find the good stuff on those tourist traps on TripAdvisor. Forget the fancy sushi joints with their hushed atmosphere and eye-watering prices. The real action is at Kaiten Sushi restaurants, where plates of fresh sushi whiz by on conveyor belts. It's fast, it's fun, and it won't break the bank. Sushiro is a good place to start. Looking for a taste of local life? Duck into a tiny, smoky izakaya. These Japanese pubs are where salarymen go to unwind after work, and the food is the definition of soul-satisfying. Yakitori skewers, grilled fish, steaming bowls of ramen, all washed down with ice-cold beer or sake. Speaking of ramen, you haven't lived until you've slurped down a bowl at a place like Ramen Jiro in Tokyo. Be prepared to queue, be prepared to share a table with strangers, and be prepared for a flavor explosion that will rock your world. And don't even get me started on the street food. Takoyaki, okonomiyaki, taiyaki, the names alone are enough to make your mouth water. Just follow your nose and your stomach will thank you. Look, nobody expects you to be a master of Japanese etiquette. But a little effort goes a long way. First things first, lose the shoes. When entering a home, a temple, or even some restaurants, you'll need to take off your shoes. Don't worry, they usually provide slippers. Tipping is a big no-no in Japan. It's seen as insulting, like you're saying the service isn't good enough. Just pay the price on the bill and be on your way. Public transport is a thing of beauty in Japan, but it comes with its own set of rules. Talking loudly on the phone or blasting music through your headphones is frowned upon. Keep it down, people. Oh, and one more thing. Slurping your noodles isn't just acceptable, it's encouraged. It shows the chef you're enjoying their food. So go ahead, slurp away. Navigating Japan? Forget taxis, forget rental cars. In Japan, public transport is king. And trust me, once you've experienced the efficiency and cleanliness of the Japanese train system, you'll never want to go back. First things first, get yourself a Suica or Pasmo card. These rechargeable cards are your ticket to ride, literally. Use them on trains, buses, and even to buy snacks from vending machines. Google Maps is your friend, but for the most accurate and up-to-date train information, download Navitime. This app is a lifesaver, especially during rush hour. Speaking of rush hour, avoid it if you can. The trains get packed, and unless you enjoy being squished up against strangers, it's best to travel outside of peak times. And here's a pro tip. Look for the women-only cars during rush hour. They're usually less crowded, and a welcome respite from the testosterone-fueled chaos of the regular cars. There is more beyond the tourist trail. Listen, Tokyo and Kyoto are great, but they're just the tip of the iceberg. To truly experience Japan, you need to venture off the beaten path, to places where the crowds thin out and the real magic happens. Kanazawa, often called Little Kyoto, is a city steeped in history and culture. Stroll through the Kenroku-in Garden, one of Japan's most beautiful gardens, or get lost in the Higashi Chaya district, with its preserved tea houses and traditional wooden architecture. For a journey back in time, head to Takayama. This charming town in the Japanese Alps is like stepping into an Edo period postcard. Wander through the narrow streets lined with preserved merchant houses, sample local delicacies at the morning market, and soak up the peaceful atmosphere. And for something truly unforgettable, hop on a ferry to Yakushima Island. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a nature lover's paradise, with ancient cedar forests, crystal-clear rivers, and an abundance of wildlife. It's no wonder this mystical island inspired the forest in the Studio Ghibli film Princess Mononoke. Embrace the different seasons. Japan is a country that lives and breathes with the seasons. Each season brings its own unique beauty and charm, from the delicate pink hues of cherry blossoms in spring to the fiery red leaves of autumn. Spring is synonymous with cherry blossoms, or sakura. But instead of joining the throngs of tourists at popular spots like Ueno Park in Tokyo, head to Nagoya. This underrated city boasts stunning cherry blossom displays at places like Tsuruma Park and Yamazaki River without the crowds. Summer in Japan means one thing, fireworks festivals or Hanabi Taikai, but forget the big commercialized events in Tokyo. Seek out a local festival for a more authentic experience. Imagine the night sky exploding in a kaleidoscope of color, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder and grilled squid, the sound of laughter and traditional music filling the air. Autumn is a magical time to visit Japan, as the leaves transform into a breathtaking tapestry of red, orange, and gold. While Kyoto is famous for its autumn foliage, escape the crowds and head to Mount Koya. This sacred mountain is home to over 100 temples, and the surrounding forests put on a spectacular show of color in autumn. Winter in Japan is all about onsen, or hot springs. Imagine, soaking in steaming hot water, surrounded by snow-dusted mountains, the air crisp and clean. For an extra special experience, head to Nagano and visit the Jigokudani Monkey Park, where you can watch snow monkeys bathing in natural hot springs. Next up, shop like a local. Forget the duty-free shops and souvenir stalls hawking plastic samurai swords and Hello Kitty keychains. If you want to find truly unique treasures in Japan, you need to shop like a local. First stop, Don Quixote. This discount store, affectionately known as Donkey, is a wonderland of everything from cheap electronics and cosmetics to bizarre souvenirs and outrageous costumes. It's a sensory overload in the best possible way. For fashion lovers, Tokyo is a paradise. But instead of the high-end boutiques of Ginza, head to Harajuku and dive into the world of second-hand kimono stores. You can find beautiful vintage kimonos for a fraction of the price of a new one. Looking for cool streetwear? Shimokitazawa is a treasure trove of independent boutiques and vintage shops. Think graphic tees, retro sneakers, and one-of-a-kind finds you won't see anywhere else. And for a truly unique souvenir, why not try your hand at making your own wagashi, traditional Japanese sweets? There are numerous workshops in Kyoto where you can learn the art of crafting these delicate and delicious treats. Outro: your journey begins. Embrace the real Japan. So there you have it, the roadmap to a Japan most tourists never see. A Japan of hidden alleys and secret ramen spots, of ancient traditions and unexpected encounters. Now it's your turn. Get out there, get lost, and discover the real Japan. Trust me, it's an experience you won't soon forget. Now that you know the secrets to experiencing Japan like a local, which of these tips surprised you the most? Comment below. And if you found this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more travel insider tips. Arigato, and happy travels!